1. Highway 34. Josh Harris was a trucker with experience. In 10 years, he'd traveled from southern Florida to northern Montana, slept in the cab under thunderstorms in Texas, and gotten stuck on snowy passes in Colorado. He figured nothing could surprise him anymore. When the Omaha dispatcher gave him a route through rural Nebraska on Highway 34, Josh didn't even look at a map. It was an old road between two half-abandoned towns, Grayson and Hatchfield. He'd heard from other drivers that there was some hell out there, but he'd thought it was bullshit himself. The first kilometers passed quietly. Flat landscape, lonely cornfields, sparse signage. But after a couple hours, he noticed an oddity. He passed the "Welcome to Grayson" sign twice. It was the same, a crack in the right corner, faded paint. It's like he drove around in circles. The radio was starting to malfunction. Distorted phrases came out of the speaker. "Don't stop. After sunset. There's no way out." The phone stopped ringing. He saw an old roadside diner. The "Open" sign was lit up, though it was dark inside. Looking in, he saw dust on the tables and a cup of dried coffee, as if someone had just gotten up and left. Josh got back in the truck and drove on. It was starting to pour rain. Suddenly, in the headlights, he saw a figure on the side of the road. Someone was standing with his head down. Josh sped past. He didn't stop. He drove another hour, then 2. But the road stayed the same. Same signpost, same gas station trash can, the same advertising sign with the logo obliterated. When he finally saw the familiar gas station, he realized it was the same one he'd started at. Exactly the same. The number on the column, the dent in the wall, even the same bird poop on the terminal glass. Josh abandoned the truck and hitched a ride into town. He quit after a week, never got behind the wheel again. Highway 34 is still on the maps, but no driver he knew ever went there again. 2. The blizzard of 2006. In the winter of 2006, 5 students from the University of Vermont decided to spend the weekend at a mountain cabin near Lake Champlain. The cabin belonged to the grandfather of one of them, Seth McNeil. The place was remote, with no cell service, electricity, or internet. Just a stove and a generator. The first day was fun, snowboarding, eating microwave macaroni and cheese, drinking beer. But at night there was a blizzard, a real one like in the old movies. The wind rumbled in the cracks, the snow lay in a wall, the door jammed. On the second day they realized they were cut off from the world. The generator began to malfunction, and they were running out of firewood. One of the guys, Jason, said there was an old woodshed nearby. He came out in the morning. He was never seen again. Day 3 passed in a panic. It snowed non-stop. Seth began to shake. He blamed the others for hiding what had happened to Jason. During the night, someone tapped on the roof. Slowly, deafeningly, as if they were walking through the attic. Day 4 brought the disappearance of the second. Logan vanished from his sleeping bag. The snow by the door was untouched. There were no footprints. But there was a wet trail on the floor, as if someone had walked barefoot. On the 5th day, the others, Seth, his girlfriend Emily, and her friend Grace, sat by the burning stove. There was an abyss in their eyes. Seth began to burn the furniture. Emily didn't say a word. There was rustling in the attic again. Day 6. The rescuers found only one, Grace. She sat on the porch in a light jacket in the snowy silence. She didn't speak, only whispered, "They're in there, on the -1st floor." Three. Elevator to -1. The apartment building in suburban Detroit didn't stand out in any way. Brick facade, peeling mailboxes, dirty stairs. Typical post-industrial America. The elevator worked intermittently, creaking, stuck between floors. No one was particularly surprised until one morning one of the tenants, Mark Hudson, noticed a new button on the elevator. It was black, just below the regular floors. It had a -1 on it. There was no basement or service floors in the house. That's what the management company said. But the button worked. Mark pressed it. The elevator went down, very slowly. The lights flickered. The floor vibrated. It seemed to be going down somewhere deeper than it should. When the doors opened, a dark hallway was in front of him. The tiles were old, cracked, and there were sweat stains all over the walls. Dim lamps flickered. On either side were black doors with no handles. The air was heavy, smelled rotten. He stepped forward. The doors slammed shut. The call button didn't work. He strode forward. With each passing second, the corridor seemed to drag on. One of the doors had something scratching from the inside. Another opened slightly. There was blackness behind it. Mark found a stairway up, but it had collapsed. On the wall was a poster with the date, closing 1961. On the floor were fresh barefoot footprints going into the darkness. He went back to the elevator. The doors opened by themselves. He stepped out onto his floor. Everything looked familiar, but his name had disappeared from the mailbox. The neighbors said no one had lived in the apartment for a long time,